No freezer section here. All these vehicles are inside at a balmy 72 degrees. You don't even need to clip coupons to get 0% financing and huge savings on cars, trucks, minivans, SUVs, and more. And with Mike Quimby being there, you know you'll get more for your trade than anywhere. The ginormous Drive and Save Indoor Auto Sale at the Old Shop and Save is going on now. Corner of Chatham Road in Wabash. 0% financing for 36 months, $10,000 max finance with approved credit through Heartland Credit Union.
You could dig a hole in the ground and bury your cash, but that's no way to see your savings grow. Use an INBCD, and you'll earn a 3.14% annual percentage yield just for keeping your money with us for 13 months. The minimum deposit and balance for this certificate of deposit special is $10,000. For more details, visit INB.com. Apply at any INB branch or on our website. INB, member FDIC.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of flurries for much of the day today. Breezy with a high near 27, low around 19. Tomorrow, cloudy and breezy with a high near 42, low around 29. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 46. Chance of rain in the afternoon, low around 26. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 32. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 24. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
This is the Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week, sponsored by Barcom Security.
Hi, I'm Officer Drew Zabados, Crime Stoppers Coordinator for Sangamon and Menard Counties. This week, Crime Stoppers is seeking information to assist the Springfield Police Department reference a burglary to motor vehicle, criminal damage, and theft that occurred on November 7th, 2022, around 4 o'clock a.m. at Goodwill, located at 2531 North Dirksen in Springfield, Illinois. The suspect arrived in a white SUV and proceeded to break windows on 2 Goodwill vehicles, causing $1,200 in damage. The suspect then proceeded to take an assortment of tools from both vehicles worth approximately $6,000 before fleeing the area southbound. Photos of the suspect and their vehicle can be viewed on our website, cashfortips.us. You can identify the suspect or their vehicle. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 217-788-8427. Submit a tip on our website or use the P3 app. If your tip results in an arrest, you could receive a cash reward of $2,500. Remember, Crime Stoppers only want your information, not your name.
Catch a criminal, get a reward. Crime Stoppers of Sangamon and Menard County, sponsored by the Springfield office of Barcom Security. BarcomSecurity.com. Have a secure day.
Are you more concerned about crime than you were a year ago? You're probably not alone. But this rising wave doesn't have to catch you off guard. Barcom Security is protecting more Central Illinois homes and businesses every day. Being proactive and dealing with it now will keep you and your family more secure. Make it your next call. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
If you're in need of care, that's all you should be concerned about, not the hassles of out-of-pocket cost or whether your doctor is in network. We've heard you. Springfield Clinic Advantage, an employer health plan designed locally with a real understanding of the healthcare needs of the patients in our community. A plan that guarantees you'll never be out of network with your Springfield Clinic doctors again. Your doctors, your health plan, your advantage. Visit springfieldclinic.com/advantage.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
Lawsuits brought against Illinois' gun ban working their way through the courts. My count is, there's 6 or 7 different lawsuits. Good morning. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, and we've got a bunch of lawsuits against the state's gun ban, where the state now prohibits the future sale of certain semi-automatic guns and magazines of more than 10 rounds for rifles and more than 15 rounds for handguns, and those various aspects being challenged in court, in state court and in federal court. So we've got a lot of movement that's happened in the past few days. We'll continue to track this every morning because a lot of you out there see the Second Amendment as a constitutional, fundamental civil rights, right there with free speech, free assembly, free religion, free press, your right to remain silent. Something else that's being brought up in this conversation about the gun ban and a gun registry, that in the state of Illinois, if this thing does not get struck down by the courts, individuals will be required to register their semi-automatic guns with law enforcement, with Illinois State Police. So this is obviously a pretty contentious issue. And a lot of moving pieces, as I said. So on the heels of getting a temporary restraining order in the Effingham County state-level case, Attorney Thomas DeVore, he had his partner in front of a judge Wednesday in White County requesting a temporary restraining order in that separate case for 1,700 plaintiffs. And I talked with DeVore shortly after yesterday's hearing, and he kind of laid out some of what was discussed, very similar to the Effingham County case where he has that temporary restraining order he secured for about 866 different clients. So here's Attorney Thomas DeVore talking a bit about the progression of the case, what's next, and what happened yesterday during the emergency hearing.
I had a trial that I had to attend in another county, so that was argued on behalf of Brian Drew. Brian Drew's an attorney that I work with and does a really good job, so he's co-counsel with me on this case. He argued the restraining order in front of the judge in White County. Made all of the exact same arguments we made in the first case, and the state pretty much made the same arguments they made in the second case. The judge asked good questions of them and seemed also critical of their proposition that, well, if the citizens don't like it, they can just fight about it in court after we've passed the law, and you really don't have any ability to object while we're going through the legislative process. And the judge seemed kind of taken back by that, like the court can't do anything to help people. So he heard everything. He took it under advisement, asked to submit proposed draft orders, and said that he would try to get a ruling out as quick as he possibly could.
So again, took it under advisement to get out a ruling as quick as he possibly could. That's what DeVore said the judge put out. And if you look at the docket entry for that White County case, it does indeed show that it's been taken under advisement. And again, they're requesting a temporary restraining order. And listen, I know a lot of you aren't lawyers, and a lot of this might be foreign to you if you're just now starting to pay attention to this story and just how these kinds of things get dealt with in the courts. The temporary restraining order is just that. It temporarily restrains the state from enforcing this law to ban guns and magazines or the sale of such items. They cannot enforce this, but only for the 866 people in the Effingham County case. There is a TRO in place there, but that case is being appealed by the state. So the state filed an appeal in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and DeVore talked a bit about how he is indeed having to move forward with filing a response to that appeal.
The timeline on that is my appeal is due tonight by close of business. I'm working on it as we speak.
This was last
night.
And
then based upon the timeline of a restraining order appeal to the appellate court, I would suspect sometime a week from now, another 7 days, next Wednesday maybe, the court would render its decision and choose to uphold the judge's restraining order or find a way to send it back for some reason, one or another.
So again, that's in the Effingham County case, and you could have some kind of decision within the next week, possibly, from the appellate court on whether to uphold the TRO or kick the case back to the court and have them deal with it. And we'll see what happens in the next 7 days. But these are just two of a slew of cases that have been brought forward, not just in state court, but also in federal court. And you've got one that had the Illinois Gun Rights Alliance organize the federal firearms of licensees of Illinois, the Aurora Gun Club, I believe. You've also got the Gun Save Life and Gun Owners of America, all part of that litigation in federal court. So these separate cases, you do have, in that case, a judge being issued for the Illinois Gun Rights Alliance. That was issued yesterday. In a separate case, you have the Illinois State Rifle Association. They had a motion for a preliminary injunction filed Wednesday. And that essentially is saying, hey, we want an injunction issued right away to block the state from enforcing this. And we'll actually talk with the Illinois State Rifle Association's Richard Pearson coming up here in just a bit. But I did chat with Todd Vandermeide. He's a former lobbyist for the NRA. He's also formerly of the Illinois Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois. He's an all-around gun law expert, testifies in front of lawmakers on the regular. But he talked about how this obviously is, a lot of different cases. They're all working together to block the law. They have a common purpose, even though they are all separate. They have a common purpose to block the law. Here is Todd Vandermeide when I chatted with him recently.
We have seen a pattern of practice with the Attorney General's office to come in and ask for 3 and 4 30-day extensions on their filing times. And I don't think that the citizens of Illinois can sit here and have their rights trampled upon for 3 to 4 months while we wait for him to get his act together.
So not only is the Illinois Gun Rights Alliance case trying to block the law, just as the Illinois State Rifle Association's case is trying to block the law, just as the DeVore cases in state court are working to block the law. Vandermeide saying that they're also going to push aggressively against any kind of delay in having the states respond. So there's a lot of moving pieces here again. And there's even a third federal case that was filed by the National Shooting Sports Foundation. A judge in that case was assigned on Wednesday. So look at it on the board. State level cases are advancing. You've got a TRO in one of them. Emergency hearing yesterday, possible TRO coming in soon. Who knows if it's going to be by the end of the week or not. Then you have federal cases that are moving. You've got 3, one from the Illinois State Rifle Association with a preliminary injunction filed yesterday. Another one from Illinois Gun Rights Alliance that had a judge chosen yesterday. And then also yesterday you have this case from the National Shooting Sports Foundation that as well had a judge assigned. That one, a lot of people are reporting the National Rifle Association is behind that one. I think they just kind of signed on as support. They're not listed as a plaintiff in that particular case, but that seems to be the indication that it's the National Shooting Sports Foundation. So if you do have the ability to search for federal cases, you could just search for that particular case. But I'm going to be tracking all of this. Of course, you can stay close to me with Bishop on Air. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, probably the best place to get the latest is on Twitter. But of course, with YouTube, we stream each and every morning from 6 to 9 here on WMAY. All right, coming up, we've got a little bit of a breakdown of the Illinois State Rifle Association's preliminary injunction. Also, we'll talk with Richard Pearson from the State Rifle Association coming up here. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop at now 6:20. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of around 27 degrees. It's got a chance of snow throughout the morning and then flurries in the afternoon with a low down to 19. Friday, we got a chance of snow with a high of 42, and it's going to be wet stuff later on. And then Saturday, we're looking at a chance of rain with a high of 47. Sunday, cloudy with a high of 32, and Monday, partly sunny with a high of 24. Right now, 26 degrees at 620 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
If you want a bank safe from anywhere, get the app you can use everywhere. Your money's right in your hand. Nobody loves you like Heartland. Get a loan, pay a bill when you're on the go. Deposit that check right from your phone. Download our app and you can. Nobody loves you like Heartland. We're like a bank, but only better, 'cause you're a member. Bank like you own the place. Heartland Credit Union.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
Not your typical dealership you're dealing with.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
We've got the ride and the price you want to pay.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Number one choice, Midwest dealer, guaranteed financing, no hassle-friendly service, unlimited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo Mattress Clearance Sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you'd better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
All right, get on over to WMAY.com and take today's daily poll where you were asked, let's refresh that page. That's yesterday's question. After last night's candidate forum in Springfield, who are you more likely to support in the race for Springfield mayor? Misty Buscher or Jim Langfelder? And 70% of you so far this morning say Jim Langfelder. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
So we are covering every morning the progression of these cases against the state's gun ban because, listen, I mean, if there was a law limiting individuals' free speech to the level of saying that commonly spoken words can't be spoken until somebody registers that with the state, we would be definitely talking about it extensively. In the Second Amendment, you've got people challenging this semi-automatic weapons ban and the magazine ban, saying that it is indeed going after commonly held items that are, they say, protected in the Second Amendment. And of course, we'll be covering this as it progresses all throughout. Just in a few moments, we're going to talk with the Illinois State Rifle Association's Executive Director, Richard Pearson. But you can also call in live and local at any time, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here where you can sound off on these issues. Again, 217-629-7970. But before we do connect with Richard Pearson, just to get some of the latest here and what to expect moving forward and maybe how some of you out there can help, they issued this statement yesterday about the filing of a preliminary injunction. And I went through some of the injunction and some of the original case and just wanted to highlight how they're looking at this and how they're going to advance forward. And it says in the initial case that they filed last week, while plaintiffs acknowledge that their sought result is contrary to one particular case, and even in Highland Park, another particular case, those cases have been abrogated by New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. Bruin case in particular, they write. Bruin displaced Friedman's inquiry into Second Amendment cases into whether a regulation bans weapons that were in common use at the time of ratification or those that are some reasonable relationship to the prevention or efficiency of well-regulated militia and whether law-abiding citizens retain adequate means of self-defense. It goes on to talk about Bruin's replacement test. When the Second Amendment's plain text covers an individual's conduct, the Constitution presumptively protects that conduct. The government must then justify its regulation by demonstrating that it's consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. So it'll be interesting to see how that ultimately is debated in the courts. But when you get further on, you start seeing some of the other things that they're looking to do. Of course, they're wanting the courts to declare that there's a deprivation of the plaintiff's rights in the law and deprivation of the rights of the Second Amendment and 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. But then you get into the preliminary injunction, and they're looking for the injunction to be granted from the federal court, the Southern District. They are saying that plaintiffs are likely to succeed in the merits because of the firearm ban is unconstitutional under Bruin. And they say the U.S. Supreme Court in that Bruin case held that when the Second Amendment's plain text covers an individual's conduct, the Constitution presumptively protects that conduct, as we said earlier. So what does all this mean? How is it going to advance? And how are they arguing that, you've got only certain types of weapons can be banned, including dangerous and unusual weapons can be banned? So that's another argument that the State Rifle Association is saying. They say if the ban is to survive, Illinois must prove that it's consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. It goes on further to talk about how the banned firearms in Illinois' law are in common use. They say the case thus reduces to the following straightforward inquiry: are the arms banned by Illinois in common use, according to the lawful choices by contemporary Americans? They unquestionably are. The request for the federal courts is to determine on that request coming from the Illinois State Rifle Association as well. They say that the magazine ban is also unconstitutional under Bruin. So those are some of the things that they're picking out here in the State Rifle Association's case. And we'll talk with Richard Pearson coming up in just moments. But first, let's get a phone call from you out there, 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Greg.
Hey.
So, Bruin, couldn't that also, I guess, in a roundabout way, override the fire owner's identification card as well?
Yeah, but you got to understand here, that's not what's being debated in the courts. And listen, I totally get where you're coming from, trying to pick apart all other things. The courts are already dealing with the FOID card issue. Whether it gets all the way to the Supreme Court, not sure. But that's a totally separate issue from what's being debated in the courts right now.
Okay. Hey, Greg, one more thing. I sent you something on Twitter last night. Mr. James O'Keefe has done it again.
Yeah, about Pfizer. Gosh, you know what? I've got to take a look at it. I have yet to delve into that. It's definitely something I'm interested in, and we'll see if we can unpack that maybe tomorrow if we get some time. I appreciate the call. Got to take a break and then come back and be joined by Richard Pearson from the Illinois State Rifle Association, so stay tuned. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, now 6:31, and here are headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, the U.S. economy registered decent growth in 2022 despite painful inflation, high interest rates, and concern that a recession may be months away. Economists estimate that gross domestic product grew at a 2.3% annual pace from October through December. Despite a likely second straight quarter of expansion, the economy is widely expected to slow and then slide into a recession sometime in the coming months as increasingly high interest rates engineered by the Federal Reserve take a toll. Mayor Jim Langfelder and City Treasurer Misty Buscher met last night. Springfield heard live on WMAY. Buscher said the city's minority hiring record is dismal, while the mayor said he's built trust between police and minority communities. Langfelder is open to the return of metered parking downtown, while Buscher says she would do away with the meters. Both said the city should review its relationship with private ambulance companies after the death of Earl Moore Jr. A suspect is 5 to 40 years in federal prison and convicted of setting the fire that heavily damaged a Planned Parenthood facility in Peoria. Titles in a timely fashion. Under the settlement, Carvana agrees to follow Illinois law in the future and to submit to inspections to ensure compliance. The company will also forfeit its $250,000 bond with the state. Janulia says the state reserves the right to again suspend Carvana's license if more violations occur. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
For contractors, it's true that time is money. Let Menards save you a bit of both. You'll find the best selection and prices in our real lumber yards and drive-through warehouses. You can drive right up to the materials you purchased in-store or on Menards.com, with plenty of room to load them directly into your truck or van. It's more efficient at Menards. We help contractors get in, out, and back on the job.
Save big money at Menards.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Step away from the hectic pace of life for 30 seconds and let me tell you about Elkhart Station. You'll find Elkhart Station located in the heart of Elkhart, Illinois, where nostalgia meets small-town charm. Search the fun and unique handcrafted products and everyday necessities, including food and beverages from the state of Illinois. Let your taste buds decide which of the local beer, wine, and crafted spirits are the best in the tasting room experience. For more information, visit conshg.com.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of flurries for much of the day today. Breezy with a high near 27, low around 19. Tomorrow, cloudy and breezy with a high near 42, low around 29. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 46. Chance of rain in the afternoon, low around 26. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 32. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 24. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
The ginormous indoor auto sale event is back. This time at the Old Shop and Save on Chatham Road. The Old Shop and Save is now Drive and Save. Green Hyundai and the goats at Green Certified West have moved all used vehicles indoors to the Old Shop and Save. Hundreds of vehicles all marked down indoors at the ginormous Drive and Save indoor auto sale at the corner of Chatham Road and Wabash. Aisle after aisle of fresh local trades. No freezer section here. All these vehicles are inside at a balmy 72 degrees. You don't even need to clip coupons to get 0% financing and huge savings on cars, trucks, minivans, SUVs, and more. And with Mike Quimby being there, you know you'll get more for your trade than anywhere. The ginormous Drive and Save indoor auto sale at the Old Shop and Save is going on now. Corner of Chatham Road in Wabash. 0% financing for 36 months, $10,000 max finance with approved credit through Heartland Credit Union.
Register today for the Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon. Run where Lincoln walked. Take to the streets on Saturday, April 1st. Your run begins and ends downtown with an amazing post-race party on Adams Street between 4th and 5th, featuring Buzz Bomb Brewery, Cafe Moxo, and Kidsium. Want to help keep the course safe or keep our runners hydrated? Volunteer opportunities are available as well. The Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon, Saturday, April 1st. Register today at lincolnhalf.com.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, SPI, to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute. When you travel, what's your definition of wealthy or the cost of living? You'll soon discover it depends on your destination, and those numbers change. In a recent survey, Americans say it takes a net worth of $774,000 to be considered financially comfortable. Want to be wealthy? Then that number jumps to $2.2 million. That's just an average. In Chicago, folks there think you need $956,000 to be comfortable and $2.5 million to be wealthy. In Boston, that jumps to $892,000. You'll still need $2.7 million to be wealthy. But beware of San Francisco. People there think you need $1.7 million to just be financially comfortable and a whopping $5.1 million to be wealthy. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute.
Bedtime is rough, and we'll go to extremes to fall asleep. Tempur-Pedic adapts to your body's needs to help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. So ditch the eye masks. Head to Ashley to find your perfect Tempur-Pedic.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's News and Talk.
A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the text of the Second Amendment. I might have one or two words wrong there, but in essence, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Obviously, that's something that is being challenged by a law that Governor J.B. Pritzker enacted earlier this month. On January 10th, late in the evening, he signed that. It was the final day of the previous General Assembly, where lawmakers passed a bill that was at first a standalone bill, newly filed, but then they took another bill about amusement rides sides, gutted that, tried passing that. And then they took a third bill about insurance, and then they gutted that and passed that in the final days with amendments that were very last minute, changing a variety of things. But ultimately, the outcome has been the state banned the sale of certain semi-automatic weapons, 170 plus of those weapons, and it increases even more when you talk about what kinds of attachments can go on there, or what kinds of sheaths on the barrel, or what kind of magazine attachments there could be. And then you also have the prospect of the Illinois State Police adding to that list each and every year. So is that going to be thoroughly explored? But you also have the prohibition of possession and sale of certain magazine capacities, more than 10 rounds for rifles, more than 15 rounds for handguns. And don't forget about that gun registry, which if this is not struck down by the courts, then Illinois citizens could face a Class 2 felony if they don't register certain semi-automatic guns that the Illinois State Police deems are called assault weapons. So all of this, of course, being challenged. To my count, there are 7 different lawsuits. There are 3 in state courts I'm aware of, 2 from attorney Thomas DeVore. 1 has a temporary restraining order issued against the state from enforcing it on 866 people. A second case from DeVore that had an emergency hearing yesterday. That is going to possibly lead to a ruling on a temporary restraining order at any moment. So there are 3 different cases. Another one's in Crawford County, and I have yet to see an update on that. But then there's also 3 different cases filed in federal court that I've got on my radar. One of them is from the National Shooting Sports Foundation. I think the NRA is somewhat part of that. You've got a second one from Illinois Gun Rights Alliance. They're expected to file actually more additional litigation because the first one is just about the gun ban. They're looking to possibly do something about the magazine ban. And then also you've got a third one they're looking at possibly dealing with manufacturing of parts. But the Illinois State Rifle Association has a separate case that they filed in state court, and they've got their judge, and they filed yesterday a preliminary injunction request. And joining us now to talk about that is Illinois State Rifle Association's Executive Director, Richard Pearson. Richard, there's a lot of moving pieces here. What's the ultimate goal? While you guys aren't all working together across the state and federal court cases, what is that ultimate goal here in challenging this law?
Well, the ultimate goal, of course, is to strike the law down as unconstitutional. And everyone believes it is, except the people who voted for it and the governor. But so that's why we went after the temporary restraining order yesterday. You have to wait till all plaintiffs are served. They were all served yesterday, and so we filed yesterday. And so they have about 14 days to respond. But I don't know if they include weekends in those 14 days or not.
So when we ultimately get that response, is that when a judge will schedule a hearing and hear all the arguments, and then could they determine then that preliminary injunction is going to be granted?
They could. That's what we're working toward as fast as we possibly can right now.
We're talking with Richard Pearson. He is with the Illinois State Rifle Association, and talk a bit about, I guess, resource coordination. That's obviously a very important factor in this, as you've got these lawsuits costing quite a bit because having high class attorneys to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, that's not a cheap endeavor. But you've got the Second Amendment community in Illinois seemingly kind of spread out from all of these different cases, either paying DeVore to get individual temporary restraining orders, or gun groups like Gun Save Life with their lawsuits. And how do we best coordinate all of those resources across the state among the Second Amendment community?
Well, I would imagine at some point the judge will combine cases. I think that's really where this is all going to go. And so we'll see what happens at that time. But in the meantime, we'll press forward with our case. Our case is different from some of the ones in state court. Our case covers every gun owner in Illinois. So that's an important distinction. So the other 866, for example, those people had their rights restored, but it doesn't apply to everyone. And so our case applies to everyone.
Richard Pearson with us, Illinois State Rifle Association. You can find out more about the ISRA at isra.org. And, of course, you guys have a donate button there to help coordinate and finance the ongoing litigation here. Talk a bit about the importance of getting this preliminary injunction in place because, as you said, the federal courts could possibly combine all these different cases that there are, and then you got filings of briefs and you got the summonses, and it just takes time to get all that together. How important is it that the preliminary injunction be issued while the court gets all of this wrangling together, right?
Well, right. We want to get all this stuff stopped. And so a preliminary injunction will do that. Then we'll have a hearing for a permanent injunction against this law, which will essentially declare it unconstitutional. We believe that, of course, the state will appeal this, and whichever suit they pick, and it will go up to the Seventh Circuit, which is the circuit we are in, and then the next step would be the United States Supreme Court.
And something that could take months upon months. Do you think all this is going to be cleared up before that January 1st, 2024 deadline for individuals to register their firearms with Illinois State Police or face that Class 2 felony?
Well, I believe that it will be. Actually, it starts the registration part starts the 1st of October.
Right.
So you have to. So we don't have a lot of time, and of course, they didn't want to give us a lot of time. So that was part of the plan. But so we have to get this moving fast. But if we get a temporary restraining order, then that stops everything and gives us time to argue for a permanent restraining order. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of legal maneuvering in that time after that is done.
Richard, yesterday the Illinois Senate was in, and I was able to get in front of a handful of the Senate Democrats that either were listed as not voting on the gun ban or voting no on the gun ban. And of the, I want to say, 6 or so different Democrat state lawmakers I reached out to who voted against it or were listed as not voting, some said that they weren't even in town that day. They didn't want to go on record saying that necessarily, but I only got one individual to respond on record, and we'll hear this later on in the show. State Senator Dave Kaler from Peoria, he was listed as not voting. What does it say that the Democrats that I approached just to get 1 minute for them to explain their no vote, they weren't willing to do that on camera or in front of a microphone?
Well, there's tremendous pressure by their own caucus on the downstate Democrats. Because they don't agree with all the things that the Chicago Democrats want to do. So we have a split there in the Democrat Party, and so that's something they have to deal with. But not everybody believes that this law is a good one. They were actually the legislators, many were bullied into it, and into voting for it, I should say. And so they're not happy with this. It wasn't a clearly vetted law. We were never invited to put any input on the law, nor was any other gun group that I know of. So this was simply a power grab by the Democrat caucus in the state of Illinois.
Richard Pearson, greatly appreciate your time as always. We'll definitely be talking again in the near future as this thing progresses, and we'll be watching for when the court date is set for that preliminary injunction that you filed yesterday, and we'll follow it all the way through to the Illinois Supreme Court and beyond. Greatly appreciate your time. Be safe out there, all right?
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
It is Springfield's Morning News now at 6:50, and let's take a break, take a look at that forecast, where today we've got the possibility of some snow continuing with a high of around only 27 degrees. Only 27 degrees today. And then for tonight, you got a chance of some flurries with the low of 19. Friday, chance of snow, then it's going to possibly turn into rain with a high of 42. And then Saturday, chance of rain with a high of 47. Sunday, cloudy with a high of 32, and partly sunny Monday with a high of 24. Right now, it's 26 degrees at 6:50 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan. Not your typical dealership you're dealing with. Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan. We've got the ride and the price you want to pay. Dream Nissan, putting your limited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Hi, it's Rob from Car Guys Auto Works. Yesterday it was 20 degrees out when I left for work. Frost and snow have already happened. Add to that, inflation is getting worse. We can help. If your car needs service or repair, give us a call. Also, we are looking for a quality technician. The bays are full and we need more help. Call me, Rob, at 217-529-5670. Our address is 3030 Stanton in Springfield. We've been in business for more than 25 years. As always, if you have an issue, let me know. I can't fix it if I don't know about it.
Start the new year off with a bang at Hendrick's Home Furnishings going on now. Take up to 30% off tag sale prices on all in-stock Lazy Boy furniture. That's right, up to 30% off of Hendrick's already discounted sale prices, not from MSRP or list prices like the other stores. In stock and ready for delivery only at Central Illinois' go-to store for Lazy Boy deals. Family-owned Hendrick's Home Furnishings, delivering fine furniture since 1949 on Route 4 in Verdon.
If you drive, you need the free Get Upside gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. The free Get Upside gas app gets you up to 50 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas. 3 million people have earned cash back with Get Upside just for buying gas.
I always use Get Upside.
It's just free money for buying gas.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play. Use promo code PASS. Earn cash back on gas on every fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code PASS. Get Upside. Code PASS.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can find options that fit your budget, because giving you options is the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, like when I hold the door for someone. Sure, it may be weird if I don't time it right, and they're a little too far away, and now they're running, and we're both asking ourselves, is it worth it to run, instead of just, letting them open their own door?
But still, it's the right thing to do. So get options based on your needs with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
Donald Trump out of the penalty box. What? Apparently, after 2 years of being blocked from Facebook, the social media company, as it struggles to maintain its relevance and not fall by the wayside of MySpace, Facebook says that they're going to let the former president back on. Here is just some of the story from the Associated Press and others. President Donald Trump looks at his cell phone as he prepares to get back on Meta. No, I'm just joking. I don't think he's going to actually get back on it, even though they might lift the restriction of him being able to post, because he's got his own thing, right? He's got Truth Social, where he has the ability to directly communicate with his supportive base and to not have any concerns about possibly in the future being blocked from being able to post and communicate directly, or maybe ratcheted down or throttled from not being able to get in front of viewers and supporters, or even detractors for that matter. But Facebook parent company Meta is reinstating the former president's personal account, ending that 2-year suspension that it imposed in the wake of the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Your thoughts on this? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here on WMAY. And as we open up the phone lines all throughout the morning, and you can always chime in, again, 217-629-7970. Or you can email bishoponair@gmail.com. You can message me via Twitter. Just search Bishop on Air. Or you can also message via YouTube, and tons of comments on YouTube about the gun issue. I definitely want to make my way through some of those, but you can always call in live and local as well. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here. But listen, I mean, why should the former president get back on Facebook? Maybe get back on Twitter. I don't know. He was reinstated on Twitter, but that had to take Elon Musk buying that social media company. So should the president, the former president, go through that process again to only possibly in the future, have to deal with being blocked or have to deal with being throttled? And I think a lot of people realize, especially since the Twitter files have come out, that Elon Musk's purchase of allowed to happen. Those Twitter files showing that there was coordination with big tech, including Facebook, that the FBI, the Department of Justice, even members of the House Intelligence Committee, like Adam Schiff, who's no longer part of the Intelligence Committee, by the way. The House Republicans have said, no, you're not going to be on the House Intelligence Committee. So you had requests going into social media companies to block certain users, people who didn't really even have much reach at all. But it just shows that there was an effort to limit free speech on these tech platforms. And why would the former president even want to test those waters again? Because he's established himself on Truth Social. Now, I don't have Truth Social. I think I have an account on Truth Social. I'm not actually connected to it. Don't really even look at it much. But I am on Twitter quite a bit. You can follow me on Twitter, Bishop on Air. Great place to get some of the latest, where I post videos of interviews I do one-on-one. I post news articles that I and my team write for the Center Square and Illinois Radio Network. And also we live stream each and every weekday morning on Twitter. But also on Facebook and YouTube, you can search Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way. All right, so a lot of stuff to get to here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on WMAY. It's coming up on 7 o'clock, and next we'll talk about the Democrats who voted no and really don't want to talk about their vote on the gun ban. Stay tuned.
From the Fly SPI studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. Destruction overnight in Ukraine, a wave of Russian attacks involving 55 missile strikes, about 20 of them aimed at Kyiv, others hitting civilian sites in Dnipro and Zaporizhia. This, a day after the U.S. and several European countries agreed to send tanks to Ukraine. ABC's Martha Raddatz.
They're basically so much better than the Soviet-era tanks. So that will give the Ukrainians an advantage. They have more defenses on them. They have more firepower. They have more range. It's really something that President Zelensky was desperate to get his hands on.
New trouble for embattled Republican New York Congressman George Santos, already under fire over allegations he fabricated his resume and parts of his personal life. Amended campaign finance disclosures now suggest at least $625,000 that Santos marked as self-funded may not be after all. A firing and a resignation in Newport News, Virginia, over a teacher shot by a 6-year-old boy in class earlier this month. The school's assistant principal has resigned, the superintendent dismissed, after the lawyer for teacher Abigail Werner claims multiple warnings the boy had a gun went unchecked.
According to her attorney, after Werner first reported the boy was making threats, another teacher was tipped off about the boy having a gun. But a search of his backpack came up empty.
The administrator downplayed the report from the teacher and the possibility of a gun, saying, and I quote, "Well, he has little pockets."
Werner also claims just minutes before the boy pulled the trigger, school officials refused a request to pat the armed student down, saying teachers should wait the situation out because the school day was almost over.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze. This is ABC News.
Deb's constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating kept giving her grief. She talked to her doctor to get some relief. Deb had irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, which was a start. Saying yes to Linzess helped her do her part.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Iron.
All right, this hour, we'll talk about the possibility of a resurgence of the progressive income tax in Illinois. Did Governor J.B. Pritzker flip-flop on the issue of county control of renewable energy projects? What about the Department of Children and Family Services that's embattled right now? Is there going to be change of leadership there? But up next, Democrats who voted no on the gun ban, I asked them one-on-one, and not many of them at all wanted to go on record. So stay tuned. We'll talk about that coming up next here on WMAY. It's now 7:04. I'm Greg Bishop.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. 2 new cases have been filed in federal court by gun rights groups over Illinois' new assault weapons ban. The National Rifle Association on the one hand and a coalition of gun groups and licensed gun dealers on the other each allege that the ban on the sale of assault weapons and on the sale and possession of large capacity magazines violates the Second Amendment. At least 5 lawsuits have been filed in state or federal court seeking to overturn the ban that was enacted earlier this month. Springfield got off easy from the first major winter storm of 2023. Snowfall totals in the immediate Springfield area averaged around 2 to 3 inches, lower than the predictions earlier in the week. The snow was heavier south and east of Springfield and caused headaches for drivers all over. It also cut into local blood supplies. Impact Life estimates that it lost 100 expected blood donations yesterday because of individual appointments and blood drives that were canceled because of slick driving conditions. A suspect is facing 5 to 40 years in federal prison if convicted of setting the fire that heavily damaged a Planned Parenthood facility in Peoria. The U.S. Attorney's Office charged 32-year-old Tyler Massengale of Chillicothe after surveillance video captured images of a white truck in the area and showed a man approach the building with a Molotov cocktail, light a rag at
are inside at a balmy 72 degrees. You don't even need to clip coupons to get 0% financing and huge savings on cars, trucks, minivans, SUVs, and more. And with Mike Quimby being there, you know you'll get more for your trade than anywhere. The ginormous Drive and Save Indoor Auto Sale at the Old Shop and Save is going on now. Corner of Chatham Road in Wabash. 0% financing for 36 months, $10,000 max finance with approved credit through Heartland Credit Union.
Get today's headlines delivered to your inbox every morning. Subscribe now at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of flurries for much of the day today. Breezy with a high near 27, low around 19. Tomorrow, cloudy and breezy with a high near 42, low around 29. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 46. Chance of rain in the afternoon, low around 26. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 32. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 24. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our Careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Springfield has so many must-see destinations when you come to visit, such as the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, Bicentennial Plaza, and don't forget 7th Street Cidery. Yes, 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, is quickly becoming a destination for their great selection of locally sourced ciders, meads, and perries in a warm, rustic atmosphere. Located at 503 South 7th Street next to Obed and Isaac's and across from Lincoln's home, near great shopping and history in the heart of downtown Springfield. 7th Street Cidery.
If you love barbecue and tasty butts drive you nuts, wiggle on over to Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Fresh smoked barbecue that you're gonna love. What's your pleasure? Brisket, pork, chicken? Lil Willie's got it. And all of the classic sides, like homemade mac and cheese and cornbread. Follow your nose to the smoke at Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Ask about Willie's Rewards, where you get points for eating barbecue. Lil Willie's Smokehouse at the corner of South Grand and MacArthur. Wiggle Central.
For more information, visit littlewilliesbbq.com.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's News and Talk.
So there are Democrats that didn't vote for Illinois' gun ban in the House and in the Senate. And that, of course, was in the final days of the lame duck session of the 102nd General Assembly. Well, of course, they haven't been really back in action. Yesterday, the Senate came back, and they were in session doing some issues with the rules and committees and such. But I was able to approach several of the Democrats that were either listed on the vote for the gun ban and registry as either voting no or listed as NV, which means not voting. And it was interesting because these individuals, they're elected officials. They are paid for by tax dollars. They are either appointed if somebody resigned from the jurisdiction they're in and they get appointed to that office, or they have won an election and are of course responsible to constituents. But you would typically think that they would want to speak about the vote they took or the vote they didn't take, especially when it comes to an issue as controversial as the gun ban and registry. So I had the list of Democrats that voted on this before it ultimately passed and was enacted January 10th. Here locally, you have State Senator Doris Turner, which I still have that request out for an interview. I'd love to bring her on the air here. We've talked before in the past, would hope to talk with her about this issue and more things. Definitely want to see what her priorities are in the legislative session heading forward, especially with the budget season that's going to start up. But I want her to talk about why she voted no on the gun ban and registry. She's listed as voting no. I approached her twice yesterday, and I've texted her multiple times to try to get some kind of comment and have not gotten anything back, at least virtually. But yesterday in person, I approached her as she was walking into the Senate, asked just for 2 minutes, not even that, maybe 1 minute, just so that she could explain her no vote on the gun ban. And she said no, she's got to get into the Senate chambers. She's expected to be in her seat by 10 o'clock, and it was like 5 till. So she got into the chamber, declined the interview. And then I, waited for her and others to come out while they were in session, which took about 30 or 45 minutes for them to even start up. But as others were coming in, another one was Patrick Joyce. He's from the Kankakee area. He voted no, a Democrat. I asked him for comment, and he declined and walked in to the session. Several others were listed as no votes. One was the State Senator Linda Murphy, and she told me that she wasn't even in town, so she couldn't even have voted on it if she wanted to. So others were as well. I believe Linda Ellman was another one, or Laura Ellman, I believe, voting, not voting, also was not in town for that vote. So some interesting responses there. But other Democrats I approached, former State Representative Mike Halpin, who's now a state senator, he voted no while in the House in the previous General Assembly. Well, as a state senator, he was walking out of the chamber. I saw him. I approached him, asked him for comment. He declined to provide comment. The only person who did provide comment, the only Democrat that provided comment to me yesterday that I approached, was State Senator Dave Kaler out of Peoria. He's listed as not voting, so NV next to his name on that gun ban. This is what he had to say when I approached him to explain his vote, and something that I think is pretty important, and we'll get to that coming up here in just moments on WMAY. So stay tuned if you want to hear what exactly the state senator from Peoria had to say was the reason for his no vote. We'll have that in just a moment. We'll also hear from the Senate Minority Leader, John Curran, about this overall issue and even his sheriff in his jurisdiction not supporting or enforcing the gun ban. So we'll hear that as well. Coming up here on WMAY, and as always, you can sound off at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number, and you can email bishoponair@gmail.com. All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up. Right now, though, it's 7:15 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
The Ramsey Show.
I found a job that's very rewarding, but they're going to work me like a dog. It's a 70-hour work week.
70 hours a week. Woman's not created to work like that. Indefinite?
Yeah, that's an indefinite situation.
You married?
I am not married.
You won't be.
Yeah, you could do it for a short term. Don't sell out for something that just looks good. It's got to be good in all aspects.
The Ramsey Show, weeknights at 10. Sponsored by INB. Bank Easy. Bank INB.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield. Where do you go when you want to get in shape? The Body Quest Store. The Body Quest Store. High quality exercise equipment for your home. The Body Quest Store. The Body Quest Store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store. The Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive. The Body Quest Store. The Body Quest Store. 787-9930. The Body Quest Store. The Body Quest Store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo mattress clearance sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Hi, this is Jim over at CBD Botanicals over at 2538 South Cokie Mill Road at the corner of Cokie Mill and Isles next to Walgreens in the Fresenius building. You know, we've come upon a new year and a lot of people are doing things to help themselves get healthier, maybe push off their appetite a little bit, maybe work out a little bit more, and we've got something for you. I call it the Victor. It helps get you upstairs where in that elevated state where you like to be, but it also helps suppress the appetite a bit. Another one that I'm very, very fond of, the Phantom Gummies from Ghost have been amazing. A quarter gummy does me just fine. Just helps me relax and get out of my own head. And then finally, there's another line that we've just brought in, and it's from Delta State. And it could be your tried and true Delta 8, or it could be even the newer advanced cannabinoid. So come on by, check them out. And as always, whenever we launch a new product, it's buy one, get one 42.0% off while supplies last.
All right, indoor shopping going on right now with Green Hyundai, and Mike Quimby and the team there to show you exactly the perfect vehicle for you and your family. Mike, tell us about it.
Greg, it's been a great sale so far. A lot of folks coming out and taking advantage of this indoor shopping at the old Shop and Save on the corner of Wabash and Chatham Road. So invitation to come on out, take advantage of 0%. On these pre-owned cars. We have new out there, too, new Hyundais. And, man, oh, man, do we have a lot of cars. Close between 4.5 to 5 million cars, $1 million worth of cars out there. So they're all indoors, tucked in a beautiful lit facility. So come out and see us. This weekend will be the final weekend in the month of January as we try to put the rest of these cars down the road. So a lot of selection, a lot of stuff going on, and it's going on indoors out at the old Shop and Save. It's called the Shop and Drive at the corner of Wabash and Chatham Road. Greg?
Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai. Get out there and shop and save with cars from Green Hyundai. Mike Quimby, have a great day.
We sure appreciate it. Thank you.
The fastest way to head west heaven? Order online and your sub masterpiece will be waiting. HeadWestSubs.com.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
As you sit slightly sideways staring at a ditch, it's about now you're thinking, I sure wish I'd have visited Lauterbach and done something about these tires. Worry not, we've all been there. And Lauterbach is here. It's the Lauterbach man, and I'm overlooking stacks of fresh tires ready for your car. Putting two and two together, it's pretty clear that a place called Lauterbach Tire is quite exceptional when it comes to those rubber miracles. See, good tread and properly balanced tires can mean the difference between you choosing when to stop and that slushy ditch choosing for you. And it's not exaggerating to say better tires can mean a safer Springfield. I'm serious about safety, and I know you are too. So let's meet over lunch or whenever is convenient for you and find you a nice set of safe tires. You'll be happy, and that car in front of you right now will be happy too. See my talented techs at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash today, and drive safely now.
Get over to WMAY.com/poll and today's daily poll, and that poll question is about the Springfield mayoral race, and the question is, after last night's candidate forum, who are you more likely to support in the race for Springfield mayor, Misty Buscher, the challenger, or Jim Langfelder, the incumbent? And it looks like it's about evenly split. Earlier this morning, Jim Langfelder was advancing, but looks like Misty Buscher taking a slight lead. We'll update you throughout the morning here on WMAY with Springfield's Morning News.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Been sharing with you the experience I had yesterday trying to get some of the Democrats at the Illinois State House who voted no or decided to not vote at all for the gun ban. And of about 5 or 6 different Democrats, let me see here, 3, 4, 5. So, about 6 different Democrats I approached yesterday who either voted no or didn't vote. They didn't want to go on record, except for one of them who was listed as not voting, and that was State Senator Dave Kaler from Peoria. And he shared with me some of the thoughts behind why he decided not to vote for it. Here he is yesterday talking with me at the Illinois State House, which is temporarily for the Senate over in the Howlett building. But here is Senator Kaler.
Yeah, well, there's things in the bill that I support, there's things in the bill that I don't support. And so, this is one of those issues that is polarized on both sides. And so at that moment, I just felt like I couldn't do either thing. So what have you
heard from constituents after the fact?
The usual, that there's folks on one side and folks on the other side, and they have very strong opinions and emotions about this. So we'll wait to see what happens in the courts, and we may have to come back and look at some other fixes. But legislation is always kind of shades of gray, and sometimes on these kinds of issues, I just felt like I couldn't go either way.
Can you intimate what specifically you didn't like?
No, I'm not going to go into the details.
So again, Senator Dave Kaler out of Peoria, willing to talk with me briefly about this, but the other Democrats I approached didn't. I even waited throughout the Senate's duration to get them coming out after they didn't have to be in the chamber, get them coming out. And really, not anybody else, none of the other Democrats wanted to go on record. The invitation's still open. I will approach others, even those when the House comes back next week. I'll be asking the Democrats there whether or not they want to share why they voted against the gun ban. And some are already saying that, listen, even on a text message I just got, they already had enough votes to win and told them to vote no for strategic reasons. That's why they're ducking me. One in particular, he says, would never vote against the party without being told. Interesting. So, is it a strategic issue? Is it something that deals with, not wanting to disturb a conservative base in their blended district, while also not wanting to talk about it because it could give ammunition to, no pun intended, to even more progressive candidates to challenge them in a primary? Fascinating. Now, we did just talk with Richard Pearson about this in the last half hour, and he did share some of his thoughts as to why exactly Democrats aren't sharing, at least with me, why they voted no in a one-on-one interview. And here's what he had to say.
Well, there's tremendous pressure by their own caucus on the downstate Democrats because they don't agree with all the things that the Chicago Democrats want to do. So we have a split there in the Democrat Party, and so that's something they have to deal with. But not everybody believes that this law is a good one. They were actually, the legislators, were bullied into it, and into voting for it, I should say. And so they're not happy with this. It wasn't a clearly vetted law. We were never invited to put any input on the law, nor was any other gun group that I know of. So this was simply a power grab by the Democrat caucus in the state of Illinois.
So again, that was Richard Pearson, Illinois State Rifle Association Executive Director, when we talked with him in the last hour. And you can find that conversation at my YouTube channel. Just search Bishop on Air, or on Twitter, Bishop on Air as well. So continuing on with more conversation at the State House yesterday about firearms, and in particular about sheriffs across the state not enforcing the law. The Senate's Republican leader, John Curran, he is from Downers Grove. He was asked yesterday during an unrelated news conference about a sheriff in his jurisdiction that's refusing to enforce the state's gun ban. And here's some of what John Curran had to say yesterday.
Why is that? It's unconstitutional?
Look, we need to take a more broader view of that issue. We need to reduce crime. We need to hold those that are committing illegal gun crimes more accountable. We have a turnstile criminal justice system, and our solution to that is turning and placing more impediments on law-abiding citizens. That issue now is in the court system. It's being challenged. That's the appropriate venue for that to be challenged, and the court's going to guide us on what is and is not constitutional.
Thank you all so much. I can do follow-ups outside.
So again, that was John Curran answering a question about the sheriffs not enforcing this, and a majority of sheriffs across the states that say they are not going to enforce this. Would love to get your thoughts. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here. Not just about the Democrats that voted no or were listed as not voting, not really willing to talk with media, even media in their own jurisdiction, about why they voted no. Or you can sound off on the progression of these cases moving forward. There are like 7 different cases, at least from my count, where you've got some movement happening for the challenge against the state's gun ban. But of course, call in at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number, 217-629-7970. Taking a look here at some of the comments. You've got a bunch of comments on YouTube that are pouring in, looking at a variety of things. In particular, let's say they're talking about funding lawsuits. Which lawsuit do they want to fund? Somebody else says, Ray says, sorry, but by not voting, you just showed everyone you are spineless. In my opinion, you're just as terrible as the rest, they say. Interesting. Sound off and let your voice be heard. 217-629-7970, or you can email bishoponair@gmail.com. This is going to be an ongoing story that we cover, and it's something I think that has many facets to it, not just tracking the lawsuits that are going to be changing day by day, but also tracking the opinions, including those who are looking to prohibit this law from advancing. And we'll obviously cover whatever the governor has to say and whatever the filings are back and forth, because you do have an appeal that's been filed in at least one state-level case, and expected a response that was filed overnight from Attorney DeVore to that appeal to the 5th Judicial Appellate District in Illinois. But again, you've got a ton of other moving pieces. So let's get to your calls real quick here. Good morning. You're on WMAY. What's up? You're on the air.
Hi, this is Robert Beavis from Law Weapons in Naperville.
All right.
I just wanted to let you know that hi, Greg. We also filed a federal lawsuit, and ours was filed back in August, I believe, or August, September, and against the city of Naperville. And then we went ahead and amended our complaint to include the state of Illinois.
I did see that.
Well,
and I did see that. So that's an 8th case that you guys are looking to essentially broaden the scope of your ban challenge in Naperville, and I believe Highland Park as well was wrapped into that. So this is now what, like an 8th case, an 8th federal case?
Correct. Yes, ours is filed again back in September. So we are fully briefed and waiting for the judge to actually rule on it. So hopefully we'll be able to get a TRO entered here very soon on that case, and that'll also protect all of the citizens in Illinois.
Well, could you possibly keep me posted on that? I think I have a note from the attorneys there in my email somewhere that talks about how you guys have filed to broaden out the scope of this to not just be about the local gun ban, but also to wrap in the state gun ban. So I'll have to pull that case back up and track along with that. But if you could, just send me a note with little bits of, hey, this is happening here, this is happening there, especially if there's a court case hearing, a date scheduled. Please do keep me posted, and you can email me bishoponair@gmail.com.
All right, I'll do that. I'll get that out to you today along with a copy of the entire complaint.
Wonderful. Greatly appreciate that.
All right.
You said
Thanks a lot, Greg.
You said, what was the name of your business again in Naperville?
It's called Law Weapons, and we're located in Naperville. And again, like I said, we've been fighting this battle from the city since September. We were able to get a stay in that case, and then went ahead and amended it to include everybody in the state here on the state ban. So I'll get a copy of it over to you, and I'd appreciate you to let everybody know that we're in the fight as well.
Absolutely, and just briefly here, what's it been like as a gun store having to deal with these types of restrictions and having to go through the courts and all of that?
Well, I'll tell you, from the beginning, when Naperville actually, got this ordinance in place, we wound up losing about 70% of our customers. Everybody started saying, "Oh, they're worried about us getting closed down by this," and they started going other places, even canceling back orders to the tune of $32,000 in less than 2 weeks. So since then, we've lost lots of customers. It's been a big struggle to keep the doors open, keeping people informed, plus the countless amounts of money that we've spent personally from the company to file for these lawsuits and pay this. We're working with the National Gun Rights Association, and they've been helping us quite a bit, but it's expensive. So we've been on air with Jeannie Ives and a few others out there, along with some of the news stations, trying to raise money for support for this thing, but we're staying open to be able to educate everybody and explain what's going on. So we field hundreds of phone calls a day on what's going on and trying to just educate everybody. So we greatly appreciate it if you could just let people know that we're here to help.
I will, and I will include your case in my consistent coverage. Now that makes it 8 cases that have counted here that are challenging this. Yours, of course, before the gun ban went into effect statewide, but you're amending that to include the statewide gun ban. Greatly appreciate you calling in and letting us know about that, and please do keep me posted.
Absolutely, Greg. I'll get you out an email here in a little bit.
Great. It is Springfield's Morning News. Thank you. And we got much more to come here. So, of course, you can always reach out, bishoponair@gmail.com, bishoponair@gmail.com. More coming up. All right. Right now, though, it's 7:33 from Culver's West on Wabash.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Supporters of abortion rights filed separate lawsuits yesterday challenging abortion pill restrictions in North Carolina and West Virginia. The lawsuits are the opening salvo in what's expected to be a protracted legal battle over access to the medications. The lawsuits argue that state limits on the drugs interfere with the authority of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The agency has approved the abortion pill as a safe and effective method for ending pregnancy. More than half of U.S. abortions are now done with pills rather than surgery. 2 new cases have been filed in federal court by gun rights groups over Illinois' new assault weapons ban. The National Rifle Association on the one hand and a coalition of gun groups and licensed gun dealers on the other each alleged that the ban on the sale of assault weapons and on the sale or possession of large-capacity magazines violates the Second Amendment. At least 5 lawsuits have been filed in state or federal court seeking to overturn the ban that was enacted earlier this month. Mayor Jim Langfelder and City Treasurer Misty Buscher met last night in their first candidates forum in the race for mayor of Springfield, heard live on WMAY. Buscher said the city's minority hiring record is dismal, while the mayor said he's built trust between police and minority communities. Langfelder is open to the return of metered parking downtown, while Buscher says she would do away with the meters. Both said the city should review its relationship with private ambulance companies after the death of Earl Moore, Jr. A new documentary produced by Storyteller Studios in conjunction with the Springfield Sangamon's Growth Alliance tells the story of the 1960s project to dismantle the old state capitol brick by brick and then rebuild it to its original specifications. A private screening of History Reborn will be held this evening at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, followed by a panel discussion moderated by WMAY's Jim Leach. Although the screening is not open to the public, information will be presented on where and how the public will be able to see the documentary. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius has reached a settlement with online car dealer Carvana. The state suspended Carvana's business license last year because of complaints that the company was issuing out-of-state temporary vehicle registrations and failing to transfer vehicle titles in a timely fashion. Under the settlement, Carvana agrees to follow Illinois law in the future and to submit to inspections to ensure compliance. The company will also forfeit its $250,000 bond with the state. Janulius says the state reserves the right to again suspend Carvana's license if more violations occur. Springfield city officials predict continued healthy finances despite fears of a recession. The city held the first hearing on Mayor Jim Langfelder's proposed budget Tuesday night. Budget Director Bill McCarty says the city based its revenue projections on pre-pandemic numbers rather than the unusual revenue spikes of the past 2 years caused by federal stimulus funds. But even with plans to devote more money to additional pension contributions and new firehouses, the city expects to finish the next fiscal year with more than $28 million on hand. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, now open next door to Obed and Isaac's in downtown Springfield. Springfield has so many must-see destinations when you come to visit, such as the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, Bicentennial Plaza, and don't forget 7th Street Cidery. Yes, 7th Street Cidery, Central Illinois' first cidery, is quickly becoming a destination for their great selection of locally sourced ciders, meads, and perries in a warm, rustic atmosphere. Located at 503 South 7th Street next to Obed and Isaac's and across from Lincoln's home, near great shopping and history in the heart of downtown Springfield. 7th Street Cidery.
If you love barbecue and tasty butts drive you nuts, wiggle on over to Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Fresh smoked barbecue that you're gonna love. What's your pleasure? Brisket, pork, chicken? Lil Willie's got it. And all of the classic sides, like homemade mac and cheese and cornbread. Follow your nose to the smoke at Lil Willie's Smokehouse. Ask about Willie's Rewards, where you get points for eating barbecue. Lil Willie's Smokehouse at the corner of South Grand and MacArthur. Wiggle Central.
For more information, visit littlewilliesbbq.com.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
Not your typical dealership you're dealing with.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
We've got the ride and the price you want to pay.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Number one choice, Midwest dealer. Guaranteed financing, no hassle-friendly service, unlimited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher. For the last 8 years, I've been your Springfield City Treasurer. During that time, I modernized the office and earned over $8 million in interest. I'm proud to be a Springfield resident, and my husband Mike and I have raised our 2 children here. I'm running for mayor, and in the coming months, I will share with you my specific ideas on how I will bring new energy and leadership to help our city grow and prosper. I'm Misty Busher, and I'm working to earn your vote for Springfield Mayor.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
Everywhere with the WMAY app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of flurries for much of the day today. Breezy with a high near 27, low around 19. Tomorrow, cloudy and breezy with a high near 42, low around 29. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 46. Chance of rain in the afternoon, low around 26. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 32. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 24. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
BLH Computers, they have locations in Springfield, Taylorville, Jacksonville. We're well into the new year, and you got some new toys to end last year, so you might be looking at the old stuff and asking the question, where do I take this stuff? Well, did you know that the place that you can get those new electronics is actually the same place that you can drop off those old electronics too, that you're not using anymore? The stuff that's sitting in your basement, the stuff that's sitting in that guest bedroom. Yep, I'm talking about BLH Computers. Recycle those old computers. It doesn't matter if they're desktops, they're laptops. You can even recycle the printers, the monitors, the keyboards, the mice, and all those other accessories that go along with it. It can all be dropped off and will be safely recycled by the E-Steward certified recycler right here in Central Illinois, which is what makes BLH Computers one of the largest electronics recycler in our region. So say goodbye to the old and start enjoying that new stuff. Recycle your old electronics at BLH Computers. You can check out the list of things that you can recycle. They also have the list of things you can't recycle at blhcomputers.com. BLH Computers, Springfield, Jacksonville, Taylorville. Follow them on Facebook and learn more online. blhcomputers.com.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Savitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySBI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
With Governor J.B. Pritzker heading over to Davos, Switzerland last week, he returned and you had him touting the state's green energy policies and other agenda items that he has advanced in the state of Illinois. But the issue of renewable energy, it's very contentious, especially when it comes to property rights and reliability issues and costs and so on. And the ability to have traditional forms of energy like fossil fuel energy for gas-powered vehicles, or maybe having coal-powered power plants that provide energy for a huge, vast subsection of the population, especially in rural areas. But the efforts that we've seen underway under the Pritzker administration have meant to try to cut back on those fossil fuels, including possibly blocking coal-fired power plants by 2035 or 2040 by saying that we're going to have a net zero carbon emission standard, which how do you actually get there? It's a great question. But we've seen a couple of interesting developments here, especially in the tail end of lame duck session, which was at the beginning of this month, heading into the new General Assembly that was seated on January 11th. So one measure that advanced was a measure that dealt with not allowing for county governments to block certain types of renewable energy projects like wind farms or solar arrays. And these, of course, are renewable energy. Some say that are great and clean, but others say it's not reliable, and you only get energy when the sun shines or when it's windy out, and you can't even really efficiently save that energy without using very costly batteries that aren't just expensive, but also can lead to some questionable mining tactics that are being used in the Congo, for instance, and some people alleging that there's downright slave labor to get some of the various raw earth elements that are needed for batteries. So you've got all of this mixing about, and the questions of what kind of local control there's going to be when it comes to siting wind farms or solar arrays, because some farmers, especially in rural areas, they don't want this encroaching on their property. If you recall, in August of last year, Governor J.B. Pritzker took part in an election roundtable with the Illinois Farm Bureau. It was one of those events where they had the two candidates, Governor J.B. Pritzker as the Democratic incumbent and Republican State Senator Darren Bailey, who was the Republican challenger. They had them come in separately, they gave speeches, and then they sat down for questions. Well, interesting to hear here the question that Richard Giebert from the Illinois Farm Bureau specifically asked Governor Pritzker back in August about this very issue of local control when it comes to siting wind farms. And here's that back and forth between Giebert and Pritzker.
Thank you, Governor. As governor, would you support and continue or to support legislation to create statewide controls over the siting of wind or solar projects?
Can you repeat the first part of that question?
I sure will. As governor, would you support legislation to create statewide controls over the siting of wind or solar projects?
No, in fact, I've specifically avoided that. I don't think that's the way. We've got to have a continuous conversation, the one that we've been having for years now, between the state and local governments and local control, so that we decide together about siting. This is it's challenging. There's no doubt about it. I do think, though, that as we look at broadband, just as one example of the challenges ahead, that you're seeing the development in broadband of much more than just laying fiber and cable Indeed, as you may know, there are almost 3,000 Starlink satellites that have already been launched and allowing people in areas of Michigan and frankly in other parts of the country so far, starting in Illinois next year, to connect with satellite. And so that's not going to require, any impingement on people's property rights. I really believe that technology is going to help us to overcome some of these challenges.
So again, Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that that's not on his radar. He actually pushed against that or doesn't want to focus on the issue of taking away local control. That was in August. That was in August in front of the Illinois Farm Bureau, where a lot of farmers are worried about this exact same thing. Well, again, just a few weeks ago at the Illinois State House, a measure advanced to essentially take away local control, with supporters saying that counties were blocking these projects. And in order to go towards Illinois' goal of more renewable energy, they want to take away the power of those local counties from being able to block the siting of wind farms. Governor J.B. Pritzker asked over in Decatur this week about it, and I think we touched on this yesterday, but just to hear it again, here's the governor being asked about that legislation that ultimately passed and seeming to flip-flop from his position just in August.
It's very important for us to make sure that counties, local governments, and the state all have input here. Whenever there is an opportunity for a farmer, a landowner, to put clean energy on their land and to reap the benefits of that. And so this bill simply spreads that out a little bit more and doesn't allow a county or local government to hold hostage an opportunity for a local farmer, for example, to make a little extra money.
So you take one more guy to sign it.
So he says that he is going to sign the bill, and the bill is on the governor's desk. So the governor flip-flopping there. 217-629-7970. A couple of other things we'll get to the rest of this hour includes the governor not looking to make a change at the top of the state's child welfare agency, despite the ongoing problems there are, including an increased number of youth who have died that have had some kind of contact with DCFS. Also, is the progressive tax coming back? We'll touch on that as well. But good morning. You're on WMAY.
Two things. I don't hate anybody in this world except for one person. I hate that man. I know hate.
All right. I understand your passion. But let's not devolve to that level. You can criticize him on certain issues, but let's not devolve to that level.
So, 2 times now. Well, actually, it's 4 because 2 there, 2 back on separate days because I stayed the night. My daughter lives in Quincy and drove there 2 weekends in a row, and I don't know how many wind factory or wind combines or whatever the heck they're called.
Turbines
are on the way to Jacksonville there.
Yeah. Out west,
guess
just west of Springfield.
Guess how many of them were running 4 different days?
No, I've seen that myself. It's not a lot, right? It's like maybe 4 of hundreds that are out there or something.
No, Greg, both days or 4 times, both weekends, not one of them was moving.
That's wild.
Not one of them was working. And those are less than a year old.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, there's a lot of other issues that are associated with it, not just the reliability questions, but you even have people who have certain kind of health effects from these things just ominously woof, woof, when they are working. Are they worth it? Well, I guess if you want to get into net zero carbon emissions, but is it really going to be net zero when how are you going to get those massive blades shipped over to where they're going to go? That's going to be a lot of fossil fuels burnt to make that happen with semi-trucks. Good morning, you're on WMAY.
There's an interesting TED Talk about that. Actually, it shows you that these green energies are not actually green. But anyways, if he's willing to lie about something so small like this, what else is he lying and manipulating about? You got to follow the money, and the amount of money that Sun Solar and these other big green energy companies are donating to these campaigns and to the DNC is astronomical. And this is just another case in point of why we must get money out of politics, because he wanted to flip-flop if there wasn't lobbyists and money involved in it. So,
well, and listen, I mean, the governor, he is essentially paying for his own campaign, right? I mean, he's spent, I think, like $370 million over 2 different campaigns. That's incredible amounts of money that he spent on himself. Appreciate the call. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Yeah, I just had a couple of comments about the 2 different takes that you think the governor had when he flip-flopped. And maybe, I know the devil's are in the details, but the first time it kind of sounded like he was saying the state wasn't going to control what sites got renewable energy spots. And then the second time with the new bill, it kind of sounds like what he's doing is making sure single counties can't control it. So, granted, I know it's not exactly the same, but I don't think it's a flip-flop. I think he's saying counties can't just block willy-nilly because there's a couple of hard conservatives who don't believe in renewable fuel. This is actually sounds like it's given the farmers the opportunity to pick and choose when they have and not get blocked by their local government.
But again, the question initially was about taking away local control, and that's something that Pritzker said that he actually avoided back in August, but now seems to be willing to sign legislation that essentially does take away that local control of an elected board of a local county to block these types of projects. So I get the nuance you're bringing up here, and I think it is important that nuance be considered. But listen, I mean, it's taking a step back and hearing it back to back again, we can let people kind of make up their own choices. I appreciate the call.
Like you said, you want people to make up their own choices, but it kind of sounds like the counties are making the choices for the farmers.
But that county is a locally elected county. It's not like just some, person is declaring themselves ruler and saying, no, we're not having this. No, it's a locally elected county. So if that farmer wants to, have that wind farm and the county board that's locally elected says no, that farmer can mount a campaign to get elected, right? I mean, elections have consequences, as we always hear. I appreciate the calls. Got to take a break. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. And my gosh, I don't even think we're going to be able to get into the conversation about the progressive income tax or DCFS, the Department of Children and Family Services, not having a change. We've run plumb out of time. I appreciate everybody chiming in on this issue. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY, now 7:53, and we got to take a break. It's from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo Mattress Clearance Sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you'd better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
If and you can click, you can eat like a king and or queen. Go to headwestsubs.com and we'll have that miracle sandwich waiting for you.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today.
Yeah! As you sit slightly sideways, staring at a ditch, it's about now you're thinking, I sure wish I'd have visited Lauterbach and done something about these tires. Worry not, we've all been there, and Lauterbach is here. It's the Lauterbach man, and I'm overlooking stacks of fresh tires ready for your car. Putting two and two together, it's pretty clear that a place called Lauterbach Tire is quite exceptional when it comes to those rubber miracles. See, good tread and properly balanced tires can mean the difference between you choosing when to stop and that slushy ditch choosing for you. And it's not exaggerating to say better tires can mean a safer Springfield. I'm serious about safety, and I know you are too. So let's meet over lunch or whenever is convenient for you and find you a nice set of safe tires. You'll be happy, and that car in front of you right now will be happy too. See my talented techs at Lodebeck Tire on Wabash today, and drive safely now.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around. Is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
If you drive, you need the free Get Upside gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. The free Get Upside gas app gets you up to 50 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas. 3 million people have earned cash back with Get Upside just for buying gas.
I always use Get Upside.
It's just free money for buying gas.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play. Use promo code PASS. Earn cash back on gas on every fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code PASS. Get Upside. Code PASS.
You date like you aren't 22 anymore. Like, emotionally mature is kind of hot to you now. And 6 texts sent back to back is totally cool. You date like your experiences, relationships, they haven't just made you you, they've made you interesting. Young love was great, but dating as a fully formed, emotionally mature human? Man, that's on a whole other level. Download the Match app today.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
So much that we get to each and every morning. We just plow through it. And I appreciate everybody chiming in and tuning in. And listen, you can always call in live and have your voice heard. I'm not about shouting people out or shutting people down. I do want to hear all voices in these conversations, so you can always chime in at 217-629-7970. Hey, just a note, listen, this is my part-time gig, the morning show, full-time. I cover the Illinois State House for the Center Square and Illinois Radio Network, and a lot of what I do there really does come into the morning show as well. But you can simply support me by, following, sharing. You can see my stuff on YouTube, on Facebook, WMAY News on Facebook, Bishop on Air on Facebook, Bishop on Air on Twitter, Bishop on Air on YouTube. Just search and you'll be able to find it and share it up. We of course are doing this each and every weekday morning from 6 to 9, but clips are posted regularly on my Twitter, on my Facebook, on my YouTube, so you can find how to connect that way. But really do appreciate everybody tuning in and chiming in. It helps fuel my fire. There's no question, because it is long hours. It's long hours to sit there outside of the Senate chambers waiting for people to come out and talk to me after they said that they would, and then an hour goes by, and then they just walk by saying they got a meeting. That's not fun. All right, it's 8 o'clock.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville. Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. Troubled New York Republican Congressman George Santos raising more questions, already accused of fabricating his resume and parts of his personal life. Campaign finance disclosures show a sudden change.
Amendments filed Tuesday show a $500,000 loan from March 2022 and a $125,000 loan from October no longer include a box checked that they were personal funds from the candidate. The amended filings do not disclose the original source of those loans, the due date, or the interest rate, which experts say could violate campaign finance laws.
ABC's Lionel Moise. Changes after the shooting of a teacher by a 6-year-old boy in class in Virginia earlier this month. The assistant principal of the school has resigned and the superintendent fired after the lawyer for the teacher claims multiple warnings the boy had a gun went nowhere. A new round of Russian missile strikes across Ukraine, 55 missiles hitting Kyiv, Dnipro, and Zaporizhia, just as the U.S. announces tank deliveries are on the way.
We've just seen why Ukraine needs those tanks. We were taken to a military field hospital here in the east. Injured soldiers are being rushed there from the front lines on an almost constant basis. That one hospital receiving dozens of casualties in a single day. This kindergarten here hit a few days ago. The distant booms we're hearing constantly tell us the fighting is escalating.
ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge. A major crackdown on bogus nursing schools.
Over 7,600 fake nursing diplomas were sold by these Florida schools from about 2016 to 2022.
U.S. Attorney Mackenzie LaPointe. Southwest Airlines now says it lost $800 million in the meltdown around Christmas. This is ABC News.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ag.
All right, so we've got the mayoral candidate forum that was last night. Just an overview of some of what was said, and I want to hear from you. Where are you standing on this right now? For the Springfield mayoral race, we got 2 candidates. Incumbent Mayor Jim Langfelder and the challenger, the current treasurer, Misty Buscher. Now, of course, it's a nonpartisan election, but where do you stand on this? These 2 names who could possibly be the next mayor for the city of Springfield. Let's get your calls at 217-629-7970. It's now 8:03 on WMAY.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Mayor Jim Langfelder and City Treasurer Misty Buscher met last night in their first candidates forum in the race for mayor of Springfield, heard live on WMAY. Buscher said the city's minority hiring record is dismal, while the mayor said he's built trust between police and minority communities. Langfelder is open to the return of metered parking downtown, while Buscher says she would do away with the meters. Both said the city should review its relationship with private ambulance companies after the death of Earl Moore Jr. 2 new cases have been filed in federal court by gun rights groups over Illinois' new assault weapons ban. The National Rifle Association on the one hand and a coalition of gun groups and licensed gun dealers on the other each alleged that the ban on the sale of assault weapons and on the sale or possession of large-capacity magazines violates the Second Amendment. At least 5 lawsuits have been filed in state or federal court seeking to overturn the ban that was enacted earlier this month. A new documentary produced by Storyteller Studios in conjunction with the Springfield Sangamon's Growth Alliance tells the story of the 1960s project to dismantle the old state capitol brick by brick and then rebuild it to its original specifications. A private screening of History Reborn will be held this evening at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, followed by a panel discussion moderated by WMAY's Jim Leach. Although the screening is not open to the public, information will be presented on where and how the public will be able to see the documentary. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius has reached a settlement with online car dealer Carvana. The state suspended Carvana's business license last year because of complaints that the company was issuing out-of-state temporary vehicle registrations and failing to transfer vehicle titles in a timely fashion. Under the settlement, Carvana agrees to follow Illinois law in the future and to submit to inspections to ensure compliance. The company will also forfeit its $250,000 bond with the state. Janulia says the state reserves the right to again suspend Carvana's license if more violations occur. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
Nobody wants to think about their furnace going out this time of year, but if it does happen, you want service quickly and affordably, which is why a service agreement with MB Heating and Cooling is such a good idea. For one thing, regular furnace maintenance means it's much less likely that your furnace is going to have problems. Your equipment will last longer. Your utility bills could be lower, and it protects your investment in your HVAC system. But with a service agreement from MB Heating and Cooling, there's extra protection. For example, the basic silver plan gives you 2 performance tune-ups a year. There is 24-hour priority service should you need it. You get energy-saving cleanings, and if you do have to have that service, again, less likely with the regular maintenance, but when it does happen, you get a 20% discount on your service invoice. You get all this for just $24.95 per month. Peace of mind at a reasonable price. To sign up for an MB service agreement, visit mb-heating.com or call 217-544-HEAT, 544-4328.
There are 3 words I always hear when someone from our staff is on the phone. We got it. Hi, it's Laurie from Rex Battery, and whenever somebody calls us and asks if we have a certain type of battery, the answer is always, we got it. Even in those very rare instances we don't, we know how to get it. And if we don't know how to get it, we'll build it. That's how committed we are to making sure you have the power you need. From model cars to real cars, from toys to tractors, dog collars to doorbells, riding mowers to remote keys. If it takes a battery, we have it at Rex Battery. Over 75,000 batteries in stock right now. So if you're wondering if we've got a battery, yep, we've got it. They're fresh, fully charged, and ready to go. Keeping Central Illinois fully powered for over 60 years. Rex Battery, Clear Lake, west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. Alexa, play WMAY 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of flurries for much of the day today. Breezy with a high near 27, low around 19. Tomorrow, cloudy and breezy with a high near 42, low around 29. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 46. Chance of rain in the afternoon, low around 26. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 32. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 24. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher. For the last 8 years, I've been your Springfield City Treasurer. During that time, I modernized the office and earned over $8 million in interest. I'm proud to be a Springfield resident, and my husband Mike and I have raised our 2 children here. I'm running for mayor, and in the coming months, I will share with you my specific ideas on how I will bring new energy and leadership to help our city grow and prosper. I'm Misty Busher, and I'm working to earn your vote for Springfield Mayor.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
The ginormous indoor auto sale event is back. This time at the Old Shop and Save on Chatham Road. The Old Shop and Save is now Drive and Save. Green Hyundai and the Goats at Green Certified West have moved all used vehicles indoors to the Old Shop and Save. Hundreds of vehicles all marked down indoors at the ginormous Drive and Save Indoor Auto Sale at the corner of Chatham Road and Wabash. Aisle after aisle of fresh local trades. No freezer section here. All these vehicles are inside at a balmy 72 degrees. You don't even need to clip coupons to get 0% financing and huge savings on cars, trucks, trucks, minivans, SUVs, and more. And with Mike Quimby being there, you know you'll get more for your trade than anywhere. The ginormous Drive and Save Indoor Auto Sale at the Old Shop and Save is going on now. Corner of Chatham Road in Wabash. 0% financing for 36 months, $10,000 max finance with approved credit through Heartland Credit Union.
Register today for the Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon. Run where Lincoln walked. Take to the streets on Saturday, April 1st. Your run begins and ends downtown with an amazing post-race party on Adams Street between 4th and 5th, featuring Buzz Bomb Brewery, Cafe Moxo, and Kidsium. Want to help keep the course safe or keep our runners hydrated? Volunteer opportunities are available as well. The Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon, Saturday, April 1st. Register today at lincolnhalf.com.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Think should be the next mayor of the city of Springfield? A lot of you listening right now probably don't live in Springfield, and you're not as intimately tuned in to Springfield city politics, but a lot of you are living in Springfield, and there's an election coming up. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the two candidates and who you think should be the next mayor. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. And this comes after we had the first mayoral forum last night that you heard on WMAY, and surely you'll hear replays of this. And it's not going to be the last mayoral forum. We've still got several months here before the April municipal elections that are going to be happening across the state. Now, in some jurisdictions and some municipalities, like up in Chicago, they've got, well, I think like 9 different candidates that are on the ballot. And or is that 10? Maybe it's 9. Regardless, you have a huge slate of candidates that are challenging Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Since there's that many candidates, I think if you have more than 4 candidates, then you have to have a primary in February. But in Springfield, we don't have that. We only have 2 candidates that filed to get on the ballot, and that is the incumbent Jim Langfelder. He's been mayor for now 2 terms. He's seeking a 3rd term. And you've got the treasurer, Misty Busher, who's looking to move from the treasurer's office to the mayor's office. You've already heard some political advertisements from Misty Busher, and apparently, according to the SJR, Busher is leading, and this was a story from about a week or so ago. Misty Busher is leading in fundraising. The SJR says that Springfield Mayor Langfelder's fundraising trails challenger. Langfelder's quest for a 3rd term, however, being met with a significant funding gap compared to his opponent, according to recent quarterly reports filed to the Illinois State Board of Elections. Busher, treasurer since 2015, came into the October-December quarter with more money on hand and added to that margin, per the Friends of Misty Busher report filed January 6th. The committee has more than $204,000 available funds, which exceeds $118,000 for Jim Langfelder. So interesting to see that. But when it comes to the positions they're taking on this, on what to do if they become mayor, we heard a little bit of that last night. In particular, you heard a bit about the issue of parking meters. One thing, by the way, I had to pay a parking ticket the other day. I was parked outside the Capitol and the parallel parking, and we haven't had to plug meters for quite some time, right? The meters, since before COVID, I think they were doing some work on the meters, and then COVID hit, and then they just suspended the meters for having to fill and plug those meters, and we haven't had to plug the parking meters downtown Springfield for what, going on like almost 3 years now. It's incredible. I love it. I think it's great. I love not having to plug the meter or having to find change. And it's funny because when I go downtown for events or, I'm parking somewhere and it's the middle of the broad daylight and I see somebody get out of their vehicle and they're looking around trying to read signs about the meters and they're looking for change in their vehicle and they can't find the change. And I'm like, hey, I'll roll down my window. Hey, you don't have to plug the meter. We haven't had to do that since COVID. And they always give me a thumbs up, and they move on with their day with a little bit of pep in their step. But I did get a parking ticket the other day because apparently, even though we don't have to plug the meters, somebody's still coming by and checking to see if you've been in that spot longer than you're supposed to be in that spot. Because I think I was in a spot for a good chunk of the day, at least 3 or 4 hours of the day. I went into the Capitol to cover some stuff, came back out, and I was parked in a parallel parking spot that was only allowed for 2 hours. So I had to get on my phone and pay the $10 charge. Would have been $20 if I waited a few more days, and took care of that. But there was conversation about the parking meters at the forum last night. Jim Langfelder saying he's thinking of bringing it back to get the new updated parking meter system. They've talked about having some kind of digital system with cards or with a phone app. And there have been questions about, well, some senior citizens don't want to do that, so they'd much rather have coins. So we'll see if that advances under a Langfelder administration. But I think Mr. Busher said that she does not want to have the meters. But there's also been some questions raised about, policing and minority recruitment efforts. And of course, the challenger critical of the incumbent about minority recruitment efforts. So that's another element that likely is going to elevate in this ongoing conversation about who should be the next mayor of Springfield. But I'd love to hear from you at 217-629-7970. Your thoughts on this, who should be the next mayor of Springfield. This is actually our daily poll question at WMAY.com. And it looks like the daily poll, it's getting some votes racking up here. And as of right now 59% of you who've taken the poll say that Misty Busher should be the next mayor of Springfield. So let's get to the phones real quick here. 217-629-7970. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be voting for Misty Busher. She's just done a lot of stuff that's actually decent for the city. And Jim Langfelder, I'm not saying he hasn't, but he's also dropped the ball a bunch of times. And I'm totally willing to give Misty a fair shot at it.
Yeah, and listen, Langfelder's been in office 2 terms now, and he was treasurer, I believe, before he was mayor. But I think they have a 3-term limit. So you're saying, no, he's done enough. He's done 2 terms. Time to get some fresh set of eyes in there.
And, yeah, that's what I feel. And I think Misty has went about it 100% right. And then the other thought that I had is parking tickets are still $10.
Yeah, hey, it's not bad.
The last time I got a parking ticket in 2005, it was $10.
Yep, sure, yeah, absolutely. That's funny. But hey, yeah. I made sure to pay it as soon as I just put it up on my dashboard. It kept reminding me every day. And then when I had 5 minutes of downtime, I just got on my phone and went to the treasurer's website and paid it. But I've actually had to go and pay, the late fee, which turns it into a $20 fee. We got full phone lines here. Let's get to them. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Who should be mayor next?
Yes, my vote's going to be for Misty Busher as well. Jim Langfelder has been on his own agenda and not been worried about Springfield itself. He's about doing what's good for him. We had a law school wanting to come into town, and he told them if they didn't build downtown that they couldn't take over the old Benedictine. He had a casino that was going to go in out by Shields sporting goods store. And he told them that the only way he'd support them was if they come downtown.
So a variety of reasons as to why you're not supporting Jim Langfelder in this next term. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Oh, you would have had that one. Let's go to this one. Good morning. You're on WMAY. What's up?
I would also vote for Misty Busher. And by the way, she doesn't. She wants to not bring back the meters, but she does want to. As she explained, raise the fine for overstaying your stay there.
Oh, right on.
So that apparently people make a habit of just parking there all day, and they're willing to pay the $10. But she wants to make that a little more painful.
Interesting. All right. So yeah, that's so even if she got rid of the meters, it would still be posted somewhere saying, hey, this is a 2-hour limit, this is a 5-hour limit, this is a 30-minute limit. And I get it. All right. You don't want somebody parking for 3 hours in front of a spot that's in front of a store downtown that's supposed to be a 30-minute spot. I get it. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, I'm kind of mixed on Langfelder. Usually he ends up running against someone who ends up saying something that makes me think that they totally need to be committed. I'm on Misty Busher. I'd be kind of leaning towards her, especially if he keeps trying to run off of and this is opinion, off of the record of the Springfield Police Department, because in my area, which isn't that bad, you can't really get them to actually ever show up. They tell you just to do a FOIA request. They'll do a police report over the phone. If you walk by where they've got the speed trap, they're always sitting there watching YouTube. And I get that these are probably the exceptions that just get posted to my neighborhood.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's always the case, right? I mean, one thing that I learned as a server at a restaurant, and I'm not trying to equate being a server at a restaurant with being in law enforcement, but one takeaway was we always heard that, listen, if somebody has a good experience at that restaurant, they may tell one or two friends. But if somebody has a horrible experience at that restaurant, they're going to tell everybody they know about that horrible experience. So, yeah, you got to take that with a grain of salt. One last call here. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
You talking to me, I believe?
I believe I am talking to you. You talking
Good
to me?
deal.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, Jim Langfelder all the way. I heard too much me, I, and my from Misty Busher to support her. Springfield's what this is all about.
Yep.
Springfield.
There you
Not
go.
Misty Busher.
I appreciate the call. Yeah, and that's a good cross-section of people here, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about in the months ahead before we get to that April election. It is Springfield's Morning News. Thanks for chiming in on this here on WMAY. All right, stay tuned. We got more to come, including Downtown Springfield Incorporated and a upcoming production of Peter and the Scratch, the Starcatcher. We'll hear more about it, I promise. It's Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. All right, it's now 8:22 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan. Not your typical dealership you're dealing with. Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan. We've got the ride and the price you want to pay. Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway. Number one choice, Midwest dealer, guaranteed financing, no hassle-friendly service, unlimited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River. Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Hey, John, when you think of the word supply chain, what's your next impulse?
No, turn off the news, run for cover, start whimpering.
Yeah, well, a customer of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World wrote in that they visited the store wanting to buy a microwave.
Something that used to be so simple.
Oh, right. You know what they walked out with?
Let me guess. A microwave.
Exactly. Dick Van Dyke had what they needed in stock, and the customer also remarked as to how helpful the salespeople were, too. Supply chain problems are still a thing, but this customer got the help they needed, and they wrote in to thank us.
You know, a little less whimpering in today's world can't be a bad thing.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Supply chain issues are minimized when you have multiple locations and people who know how to help you with your next purchase. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
A new start. For many of us, all we want right now is a new start.
If plans for your new start include starting or growing your own business, you can get the help you need from the Illinois Small Business Development Center for Central Illinois. The Illinois SBDC provides professional guidance for business growth. So, when you need help creating a business plan to get a loan, are looking for ways to grow or save your existing business, or are wondering how you can move your startup dreams to reality, you can go to the Illinois SBDC for help. Since the Illinois SBDC is a partnership of the U.S. Small Business Administration, Illinois Department of Commerce, and our local supporters, you can get the help you need at no charge. We're getting a new start too. So find us on the web to get started with an appointment with one of the professional advisors at the Illinois SBDC, the Illinois Small Business Development Center for Central Illinois. It's where to go when you need a new start for your business.
Start the new year off with a bang at Hendrick's Home Furnishings going on now. Take up to 30% off tag sale prices on all in-stock Lazy Boy furniture. That's right, up to 30% off of Hendrick's already discounted sale prices, not from MSRP or list prices like the other stores. In stock and ready for delivery only at Central Illinois' go-to store for Lazy Boy deals. Family-owned Hendrick's Home Furnishings, delivering fine furniture since 1949 on Route 4 in Verdon.
As you sit slightly sideways staring at a ditch, it's about now you're thinking, I sure wish I'd have visited Lauterbach and done something about these tires. Worry not, we've all been there, and Lauterbach is here. It's the Lauterbach man, and I'm overlooking stacks of fresh tires ready for your car. Putting two and two together, it's pretty clear that a place called Lauterbach Tire is quite exceptional when it comes to those rubber miracles. See, good tread and properly balanced tires can mean the difference between you choosing when to stop and that slushy ditch choosing for you. And it's not exaggerating to say better tires can mean a safer Springfield. I'm serious about safety, and I know you are too. So let's meet over lunch or whenever is convenient for you and find you a nice set of safe tires. You'll be happy, and that car in front of you right now will be happy too. See my talented techs at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash today, and drive safely now.
All right, the daily poll, go take it at WMAY.com. That's where you can find the question about who should be the next mayor of Springfield. We talked about this with your phone calls in the last segment. It looks like most of you so far this morning taking the poll say that Misty Buscher should be the next mayor of Springfield. At around 57% of you, again, that's just the daily poll. You'll get to actually sound off on that when they go to the polls in April. All right, go to the WMAY daily poll, WMAY.com/poll, or on the WMAY mobile app.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Downtown Springfield Incorporated is obviously a great organization that if you are a business in and around the downtown area, you need to become a part of, because not only are they helping organize all kinds of fun events, they also advocate on your behalf. And to talk more about that and more is Kayla Graven with Downtown Springfield Incorporated. Kayla, thanks for taking time. How you been?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So let's get right into it. Of course, downtown is a buzz with activity all year round. I'm looking forward to all the activities that are going to be happening in the spring. I believe we're going to be talking about the Fat Ass 5K soon, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But also the Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon, music festivals, the Y Block. It's all going to come to life. But it's had a pretty vibrant life already, even in the winter months. Talk about the farmers market and some of the other things that have been going on, even as it's been pretty cold out there.
Yeah, so we are envisioning a year-round farmers market, which we're slowly progressing more and more towards that. Right now, we're offering the farmers market twice a month in the winter months. And thanks to the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum and Library for hosting us at their historic Union Station. It gives the public an opportunity to see that space that has been kind of closed off to the public, and we're able to be in there twice a month, and you can shop. And it's not just baked goods, trust me, there is still produce available as well. And we also have our Snap and Snap Match offerings too. So I know sometimes in the past that had been expiring by the end of December, but now we were able to extend that grant on, so you'll be able to start off and get that match earlier.
So obviously a lot of opportunities for people to get down there and take in all there is for the downtown area, including the farmers market. But something else, too, that people need to prepare for, the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Yes.
Holy cow. That's coming up quicker than we realize. Wow.
It is. So I always like to say it's my celebration for my birthday because it's always around that time. So like the biggest party in Springfield for me. Thanks, guys. But yeah, that is March 11th on a Saturday this year. And I know we've been getting a lot of phone calls about how you can sign up for the parade route. Yeah. So you can go to stpatsdayparade.com and we'll put it on our website and we'll put it on a Facebook post too. So you can go to downtownspringfield.org to find that information as well.
I've been telling the radio station we need to get some kind of float together to get that together and have a bunch of kids help decorate the float. We just got to find the theme, right? The theme is really where it's at. Any suggestions? I mean, other than leprechauns and Lucky Charms?
Well, don't they typically have a theme every year? And I'm not for sure if they've announced it or not yet, but I think one of those things is definitely rainbows and a lot of green. That will get you somewhere.
Well, and I know my wife, she loves unicorns, so maybe we can do a unicorn rainbow theme or something, and then have big WMAY banner on the side.
Yeah, I know one year we did DSI did a Wizard of Oz theme, so we had Dorothy and such. So yeah, maybe embrace the theme this year.
So again, March 11th is when the St. Patrick's Day Parade is set for, and give us the website again where people can get more information about registering.
Yep, it's stpatsdayparade.com, or you can Google, and it's a little iffy. You have to make sure it's Springfield, Illinois, not Springfield, Missouri, because the websites are very similar. So you can also go to downtownspringfield.org. We'll post it there and also on our Facebook page.
Exciting things coming up in the capital city. But of course, Downtown Springfield Incorporated, not just helping organize all of these great events, they also advocate on behalf of businesses. So business owners, if you're listening right now and you're in the Springfield area, if you're downtown and you're not a member, Kayla, tell us about what they get.
Oh, yeah. So membership is a really big deal for DSI, is why we're a group, an organization. What you get with that is various levels. We definitely help represent, or if you have any problems within the city, too, we can help talk through that. Or, a really good example was a simple need of more parking extending hours. So maybe a parking hour space is for 20 minutes, and you need 2 hours for your clients to be able to shop your store or get a haircut. That's something that you can reach out to us and we can help present that idea to the Public Works Department. So it's a really great place, and we also create spaces for people too. So, we have a retailer meetings that happens where they can either air their grievances or what's going on, or formulate tactics on how they collaborate more together. So
obviously, a great partnership that you as a small business can create with Downtown Springfield Incorporated. Kayla Graven, greatly appreciate it. We'll talk again in the very near future, all right?
Excited. Thank you.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Now, 8:33, and stay tuned. Much more coming up.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story: the U.S. economy registered decent growth in 2022 despite painful inflation, high interest rates, and concern that a recession may be months away. Economists estimate that gross domestic product grew at a 2.3% annual pace from October through December. Despite a likely second straight quarter of expansion, the economy is widely expected to slow and then slide into a recession sometime in the coming months, as increasingly high interest rates engineered by the Federal Reserve take a toll. Mayor Jim Langfelder and City Treasurer Misty Buscher met last night in their first candidates forum in the race for mayor of Springfield, heard live on WMAY. Buscher said the city's minority hiring record is dismal, while the mayor said he's built trust between police and minority communities. Langfelder is open to the return of metered parking downtown, while Buscher says she would do away with the meters. Both said the city should review its relationship with private ambulance companies after the death of Earl Moore, Jr. A suspect is facing 5 to 40 years in federal prison if convicted of setting the fire that heavily damaged a Planned Parenthood facility in Peoria. The U.S. Attorney's Office charged 32-year-old Tyler Massengale of Chillicothe after surveillance video captured images of a white truck in the area and showed a man approach the building with a Molotov cocktail, light a rag at one end, smash a window, and place the burning container inside. Authorities traced the truck to Massengale and took him into custody. Springfield got off easy from the first major winter storm of 2023. Snowfall totals in the immediate Springfield area averaged around 2 to 3 inches, lower than the predictions earlier in the week. The snow was heavier south and east of Springfield and caused headaches for drivers all over. It also cut into local blood supplies. Impact Life estimates that it lost 100 expected blood donations yesterday because of individual appointments and blood drives that were canceled because of slick driving conditions. Springfield city officials predict continued healthy finances despite fears of a recession. The city held the first hearing on Mayor Jim Langfelder's proposed budget Tuesday night. Budget Director Bill McCarty says the city based its revenue projections on pre-pandemic numbers rather than the unusual revenue spikes of the past 2 years caused by federal stimulus funds. But even with plans to devote more money to additional pension contributions and new firehouses, the city expects to finish the next fiscal year with more than $28 million on hand. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius has reached a settlement with online car dealer Carvana. The state suspended Carvana's business license last year because of complaints that the company was issuing out-of-state temporary vehicle registrations and failing to transfer vehicle titles in a timely fashion. Under the settlement, Carvana agrees to follow Illinois law in the future and to submit to inspections to ensure compliance. The company will also forfeit its $250,000 bond with the state. Janulius says the state reserves the right to again suspend Carvana's license if more violations occur. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
They're always doing something special for us.
I like the bowling game up there, and I played bingo.
The entertainment they have, it's always good. I've made some nice friends.
I like the people here. Residents and the staff are both very, very nice.
It's a great place. I love it.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections. Springfield to Chicago O'Hare to anywhere you need to travel on United Airlines. From your next business trip to your next family vacation, United Airlines can get you there from the Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next United Airlines flight from SPI at united.com.
SPI, take the easy way out.
If you're in need of care, that's all you should be concerned about, not the hassles of out-of-pocket cost or whether your doctor is in network. We've heard you. Springfield Clinic Advantage, an employer health plan designed locally with a real understanding of the healthcare needs of the patients in our community. A plan that guarantees you'll never be out of network with your Springfield Clinic doctors again. Your doctors, your health plan, your advantage. Visit springfieldclinic.com/advantage.
Those computer replacements and upgrades you got for the holidays really came in handy. However, recycling doesn't mean putting the old stuff in the closet. Take it to BLH Computers. Computers, hard drives, televisions, printers, and accessories, all of it can be safely recycled by the E. Stewart Certified Recycler of Central Illinois. That's also why they're the largest recycler in our region. So skip the closet and recycle it at BLH Computers in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Taylorville, and online at blhcomputers.com.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of flurries for much of the day today. Breezy with a high near 27, low around 19. Tomorrow, cloudy and breezy with a high near 42, low around 29. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 46. Chance of rain in the afternoon, low around 26. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 32. And Monday, partly sunny with a high near 24. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySBI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher. For the last 8 years, I've been your Springfield City Treasurer. During that time, I modernized the office and earned over $8 million in interest. I'm proud to be a Springfield resident, and my husband Mike and I have raised our 2 children here. I'm running for mayor, and in the coming months, I will share with you my specific ideas on how I will bring new energy and leadership to help our city grow and prosper. I'm Misty Busher, and I'm working to earn your vote for Springfield Mayor.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
The ginormous indoor auto sale event is back, this time at the old Shop and Save on Chatham Road. The old Shop and Save is now Drive and Save. Green Hyundai and the goats at Green Certified West have moved all used vehicles indoors to the old Shop and Save. Hundreds of vehicles all marked down indoors at the ginormous Drive and Save indoor auto sale at the corner of Chatham Road and Wabash. Aisle after aisle of fresh local trades. No freezer section here. All these vehicles are inside at a balmy 72 degrees. You don't even need to clip coupons to get 0% financing and huge savings on cars, trucks, minivans, SUVs, and more. And with Mike Quimby being there, you know you'll get more for your trade than anywhere. The ginormous Drive and Save indoor auto sale at the old Shop and Save is going on now. Corner of Chatham Road in Wabash. 0% financing for 36 months, $10,000 max finance with approved credit through Heartland Credit Union.
The lights that flicker on your devices can spoil your sleep, but there is a way to still scroll until you're ready to get some shut-eye. I'm Kim Commando, America's Digital Pro. Your body has a natural circadian rhythm. When a light suddenly switches on, it's a trigger that it's time to wake up. Your device's blue light is extra disruptive. It mimics the light of the sun, even when it's 1 a.m. Yeah, that's the problem. Your body is getting ready to start the day, not sleep. And if you can't turn off your phone, tablet, or computer at night, there are ways to combat the dreaded blue light. On your iPad or iPhone, there's a feature called Night Shift. Head to your device's settings and search for Night Shift. It filters your screen to a warmer temperature, evading cooler tones when you get a notification. You can set a schedule too. Android has a similar feature. On your device, search for Toggle On Night Light. There you can schedule when you'd like to tint your screen to a sleep-friendly color. Stay one step ahead of internet trends and threats with my new Daily Longer podcast. It's called Kim Commando Today. It's perfect for when you're on the go or at home.
You can Google anything, but you can't Google trusted advice. And that's why millions just like you turn to Kim Commando every day on national radio, television, and USA Today to help protect and secure your computers, smartphones, televisions, and most important, to keep you and your family safe from hackers and scammers. If you're not already getting Kim's free breaking security alerts, you're missing a critical component to living in today's digital age. You can sign up now at commando.com/subscribe. Kim sends these free email newsletters to your inbox only when data breaches could expose your personal information. And when hackers find new ways to break into your computers and devices, Kim is always looking out for you. It's easy and free to get Kim's breaking security alerts. Go to commando.com/subscribe. Enter your email address and that's it. That's commando.com/subscribe. Commando.com/subscribe.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
We have such a vibrant theater community in Springfield, and it's not just a bunch of adults that do it. You've got youth in the city of Springfield and around the area that get involved in theater, and it's pretty neat to tell you about something that's going on coming up in the days ahead. It's the Active and Creative Teen Theater, and joining us right now to talk about one of the productions they've been working at for about 3 months now is Sarah Beck, Hannah Hillis, and also Alexandra Rollins. Thank you guys for taking time with us this morning, and let's go ahead and get into it. What's the play? Where's it at? And how can people see this?
The
The play is called Peter and the Starcatcher. It's at the Hoagland for the Arts, 420 South 6th Street in Springfield. And you can get tickets at hcfta.org.
And that's Sarah. What character do you play?
I'm the director.
You're the director?
Yes.
Well, off air, I was asking him a bit about what's going on here and how this is an all-teen performance and how, it's not just teens on the stage, it's also teens directing. You didn't tell me you were the director.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's a pretty big job.
I bet. So what are some of the major lessons you're learning as director?
Being able to trust other people with my vision has been probably the biggest thing I've learned. I have a fantastic assistant director named Henry, and he's been so incredibly helpful in just learning that I can ask for help and put things on other people.
Yeah, I think true sign of a leader is being able to delegate.
Yes.
Right? Being able to delegate things and make sure that you're not overburdened, because if you get overburdened, then you oversee things, and then you all of a sudden lead to Hannah and Alexandra having to step up and take care of business. So Hannah, Alexandra, tell us about your roles.
I'm Hannah Hillis. I play Peter Pan, so pretty big job. It's a lot of lines.
Yes, and I am Alexandra. I play Alfred is his full name.
Not the alien Alf from the 80s sitcom.
No.
Alf. Okay, interesting. So this is Peter and the Starcatcher. What's the premise of this play?
It's like the origin story of, it's Peter Pan before he became Peter Pan, when he was just an orphan with a couple of his friends from the orphanage who got shipwrecked on an island and stumbled about this fantastical, magical stuff called Star Staff.
Is it a musical? Is there music involved?
Yeah, there's a couple songs. There's a little bit of singing in it. Alexandra has some beautiful solos. Hannah has some beautiful solos. They're really great.
So what is some of the highlights here? Of course, you've got all-teen cast and all-teen crew, including you, Sarah, as the director. Tell us about some of the other highlights that people can see when they plan to go check this out at the Hoagland.
Well, some of my favorite parts are... Our lights crew is really, really fantastic, and there's lots of scenes with some super dramatic lighting when there's some characters who get thrown overboard, some dramatic scenes like that, and I absolutely love those. But what are your guys' favorites?
My highlight of the show is the opening of Act 2, personally. We have a really fun number with some really fun costumes. I also love a few of my castmates' costumes for Act 2. If you're in the mood to see some really fun costumes made from our beautiful director, and costumer June, then definitely come and see it.
Yeah, my favorite part is definitely the very last scene, because it's kind of when Hannah becomes Peter Pan and Tinkerbell is created and we talk about Wendy, and it all comes together and it's very emotional.
Do you guys end up crying at all throughout, or is that just because, finally it's done? Finally it's done.
I cry. I've been sick. I was sick the past 2 days, and getting to go back last night and see the whole show put together with costumes and everything for the first time, I was sobbing. And it's an emotional show even before that, but I'm just so proud of them.
And this again is the Active and Creative Teen Theater. It's part of the Springfield Theater Center, and they've got Peter and the Starcatcher, and it starts up this weekend. Tell us all the details again.
So you can see it at the Hoagland Center for the Arts this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 420 South 6th Street, and you can find tickets and more information at hcfta.org.
Well, again, that's Sarah Beck. She is the director of the production. Also, Hannah Hillis and Alexandra Rollins, two cast characters of the production, and it goes on this weekend at the Hoagland Center for the Arts. This is a pretty big deal. An all-teen cast, an all-teen crew. You guys are showing off in grand style. What's next? Is this Is this going to be an ongoing thing for you guys until you move on into to be, a paid actor somewhere out in Hollywood or something? Or what, is this just a hobby?
Well, right now, I'm the president of ACTT, so for the next year or two, I'm, focusing here and making sure that these teen shows keep getting off the ground. But when I go off to college, I actually want to do publishing.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
And the two of you?
I really like it. I've just started to get into theater, and I think I'll continue it for a really long time, even after college, hopefully.
There you go. And Alexandra?
I've been doing theater since about 9 or 10 years old, and it's really just what's most important to me more than sports. And for college, I'm planning on majoring in film, but I would love to minor in theater.
There you go. Well, fantastic. Thank you both, all three of you, actually, for being here and talking about Peter and the Starcatcher coming up this weekend at the Hoagland Center for the Arts. It's part of the Active and Creative Teen Theater. Sarah Beck and Hannah Hillis, plus you've got Alexandra Rollins. I'll get that right, I promise. In studio with us. Greatly appreciate it. And break a leg, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And we've got Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week coming your way next, now at 8:51 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield. Where do you go when you want to get in shape? The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. High quality exercise equipment for your home. The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, the Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. 787-9930. The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
Not your typical dealership you're dealing with.
Dream Nissan, Dream Nissan.
We've got the ride and the price you want to pay.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
Number one choice, Midwest dealer. Guaranteed financing, no hassle-friendly service, unlimited warranty. Come see us across the river, Inwood River.
Dream Nissan, putting your dreams in your driveway.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
Owning a business not only means trying to turn a profit, it also means providing safety. In an emergency, Barcom Security provides you with one-button lockdown to keep intruders out and everyone inside safe. For 47 years, businesses like Henson Robinson, Wagner Chiropractic and Wellness Center, major trauma hospitals, military bases, and many more all trust Barcom Security. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
I never thought I'd care about gardening until I bought a house in the suburbs. But now I find myself in conversations about liquid fertilizer, and I wonder, am I the fertilizer guy now? No way. Everyone knows the ratio between phosphorus and nitrogen, right? Yeah, I'm still totally cool.
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided in service by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Well, as we do each and every Thursday at this time, we connect with Crime Stoppers Coordinator of Sangamon and Menard County, Drew Zabados. And officer, thanks for taking time with us. Let's get to it. The crime of the week. What do we got?
Yeah, so this week we're actually taking a moment to reflect on 2022. We took in 645 tips. We solved 84 cases and assisted law enforcement in making 37 arrests. We were able to seize over $6,000 worth of property, which includes cash and drugs. We got 2 guns off the street and had over $18,000 in rewards paid out. Of course, none of this would be possible without the help from the community. So from all of us at Crime Stoppers, we wanted to take the time to thank everyone. We also want to thank everybody who sponsored us or participated in our events. And then finally, a big thank you to the local media, news, and radio outlets for supporting us. Of course, if you have any information about any crime, you can give us a call on our tip line at 217-788-8427. You can submit a tip on our website, which is cashfortips.us, or use the P3 mobile app. And, of course, we do pay up to $2,500 for any information that leads to an arrest.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable just to sit back and reflect on those numbers. 650 tips with about 84 cases being assisted in this particular process of Crime Stoppers. Officer, tell us about the process where it is anonymous, where people are able to not have to share their name, but they can still share that information and help solve some crimes.
Right. So when people either reach out to us, if they call in, it's on an anonymous line. I have no caller ID, nothing like that. Or if they reach out to us on P3, what that app does is it scrubs their IP address. So from the very beginning, they're anonymous. And then they are given a new identity, which is their tip number. So once they give us that information, they're assigned a tip number, and then it is then on them to reach back out to us because we don't know who they are or have a way of reaching out to them. They can call us back with that tip number, check to see if it led to anything, or add additional information. When it comes time for the payouts, we let them know, if they reach out to us, of course, hey, that tip was good. I'll give them a time, a location, and a place here in Springfield to meet. The only thing that we ever ask of anybody is a description of themselves so that whoever goes to meet them, which will never be a member of law enforcement, it's always a board member. Our board member can look for somebody matching the description they give to give them their reward. They are handed their reward, and each party goes their own way. So the only information that we would ever know is a description of the person we're looking for. Outside of that, you're completely anonymous, and nobody ever knows, who you are, and you now have an envelope, and you can go your own way.
Officer Drew Zabados, of course, we've got an upcoming fundraiser. We'll have to talk about that next week because we are plumb out of time. Crime Stoppers Coordinator Officer Drew Zabados, give us the website where people can find more information about the crimes of the week and the fundraisers and more.
Yep, cashfortips.us. February 4th is trivia. See you there. Thank you, Greg.
Awesome. Hey, be safe out there. It is now coming up on 9 o'clock. That's all the time we've got for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of our morning here, and hopefully we're able to entertain yet inform at the same time and keep you plugging right along. It's 9 o'clock. Have a great day.